Hi everyone, I'm Paula Santos from Denodo and I'm here with my colleague Miguel Blanco to share with you how to start developing in Presto C++ using dev containers. So I will start with some context on our motivations, and in case you are not familiar with the company, the Denodo platform has been around in the data management space for 20 years and is especially known for the concept of data virtualization. This means it provides an abstraction layer that sits between the data consumers and the systems that actually stores the data. This abstraction allows you to have a unified point of access and governance for all your data without the need for data replication. When a client sends a request to Denodo, either using a SQL query or a REST endpoint, the query optimizer decides the best execution plan. And this includes if it should use the native query engine or the Presto query engine for specific use cases. And in addition, we are in the journey of using Presto C++. So from a development perspective, as you can imagine, this increases the complexity as each query engine requires different environments, different operating systems, different libraries, and so on. With this context, Miguel suggested to use dev containers. This is a feature that is available in modern IDEs like IntelliJ and CLion. And the idea is that the IDE is divided in two parts, the client that the user faces and the backend server that actually does the hard work of compiling the code, debugging, running the Presto server, and so on. So the backend server is actually running inside a Docker container. And doing this, the client will be at your laptop, for example. You can start debugging as always, but then the Presto code can be in a different host machine, and the backend server of the IDE, so the debugging and everything, will happen in a Docker container inside that remote host. So you can imagine how powerful can this be. And now Miguel will explain step by step the configuration details.
Hi, my name is Miguel Blanco and I am a product developer at Denodo. Today I'm going to guide you through the configuration steps to create a dev container for the Presto and Prestismo projects, why this could be useful and its current limitations. The guide will be done following the JetBrains IDE's configuration steps, as they are the ones officially recommended by Presto, and also are the ones that we are currently using. So starting off, the dev container definition is very simple. You only need a .dev container folder and a dev container.json file inside of it. For more complex environments, you can use Docker files or Docker Compose structures. In the Presto project, we should have two dev containers definitions, one in the repo root for the Presto Java project, and one in the Presto native execution module for the Presto C++. The dev container.json file specifies how the environment will be created. Here some important properties are the name of the dev container, the build type, which can be a plain Docker image, Docker file, or a Docker Compose structure, the workspace mount, which overrides the default mounting point for the code repo when the container is created. It kind of works as the dash mount option in Docker if you execute it from terminal. And the workspace folder, which specifies the directory where the IDE will start. Okay, so for the practical example in JetBrains IDEs, first we need to define the dev container.json file. As you can see in the picture, we define the container name, the build type, in our case a Docker file, the mounting point, which is relative to the dev container.json location. Here we need to mount the root of the Presto repo so that in this case that local workspace folder wildcard will reference the location of the dev container.json file. We define its parent folder to mount the Presto native execution module. As target, we specify the path in the container where the code will be mounted, and finally we set the Presto native module as workspace folder so that the IDE starts from there. As a precondition to run the dev containers, we need to configure a Docker runner so that the IDE can know which Docker daemon has to use. Once the Docker runner is created, we can create a new dev container. We select the Docker runner we previously created as the one to run the dev container. We set the IDE backend that we want to use on the dev container. We configure the repo. We configure the branch to pull, and then we guide the IDE to the dev container.json file that we previously created. Then we click on build container and wait. And in just a few minutes, the container will be up and running. The IDE backend will be installed in the container, and once everything is finished, the frontend will open on your host machine, and you will be ready to work. With just you will have a working containerized environment to develop both Presto and Prestigio. However, there are some final tweaks to make. First, the IDE mounts a shallow clone of the repo, so in order to get access to the full history of changes, you will need to unshallow the repo. In Presto Java, you still need to manually add the executables for the Presto server. This could be automated if we added the .idea folder with the configurations to Git. But right now, you will still need to manually add these configurations. For the case of Presto Native, the configurations are already defined in the CMake project, but you will still need to execute made submodules to get all the code from Velox before compiling to it, because the clone is a shallow clone, so you won't have that code. In our case, we installed the dependencies to a common directory during the container deployment, as the repo is mounted at the end of the process, and we needed to have the dependencies installed prior to the mounting point. So now that we have our dev containers up and running, we need a way to manage it. So from the graphical user interface of the IDE, you can start them, stop them, recreate them, delete them, and collect logs for debugging purposes. Keep in mind that deleting the dev container does not remove the associated volumes, so you should not lose your changes after a rebuild. However, we recommend that you push your changes before doing it for safety reasons. To finish, let's talk about advantages and disadvantages of this technology. In the advantages side, we obtain the ability to have the same environment for everybody, and in theory, similar to a testing one. It allows easy development on remote machines, which is important when working with technologies like Hadoop and other demanding technologies. We have isolation of Git credentials. So, each user can pass through its credentials from the IDE frontend to the backend. This without exposing them to the container. So the same dev container can be used by anybody. For newcomers, this solution provides an almost instant onboarding time, as the environment can be set automatically in just a few minutes. It provides independence of the host operating systems and resources. As the IDE backend is running on the container, you can develop on a powerful server from a low-end terminal. You'll also should experience less troubleshooting times, as if the environment breaks, you simply can rebuild it. And last but not least, it's optional. You can still develop in Presto in the traditional way, but we believe that simplifying the process for newcomers will help grow the community. Lastly, we need to talk about limitations. Right now, the dev container implementation is not standard across all IDEs, so you can expect some minor differences if you start the containers from JetBrains, compare it with other IDEs like VS Code. It's also a relatively recent feature, so some features are still in progress and in beta access. There's a slight performance loss due to the extra virtualization layer, and it's one more component to maintaining the project. However, the images should be identical to the ones that we are using to build press to release versions, so it should be relatively easy to maintain. And that's all from our side. Thank you very much for your attention, and feel free to reach out via email, LinkedIn, or Slack.